Okay, BugeyeBob back here again, getting back into repairing the outer footwall panels, which are, the old one is kind of crap. Made this pattern out of hardboard. Got replacement panels out of 18 gauge steel. Look like so. One for each side. Next thing I've got to do is I've got two little holes here. This is where the cloth hinge strap from the door goes so that the door doesn't swing out too far. Got to drill this hole here in. Then I can start fitting these panels back in, the replacement on the driver's side, and aligning up the A-pillar so that I can make sure I get the top of the dashboard adjusted right. So that's what I'm going to be getting into, and I'm not going to show you the drilling of the holes because drilling of the holes is drilling of the holes. I might show you a little bit of fitting the piece into the driver's side, and so I've fitted this into place. I used screws up along this top edge to tighten it down to everything, and then I did some testing. And one of the things I found is this bottom lip was a little bit too long, so that if I put the flange edge on, I was going to end up with it not fitting right. So I cut this back another 1/8 of an inch approximately, put the bottom flange on using the flanging tool, and it warped it just a little bit, but I found I could just give it a slight bend and it flattened it back up. Now, once I'd done that, then I found that this all would go together just fine and had a little bit of clearance for the lip on the inner sill. But one thing I had to do was right here, this whole area here needed to be flanged back down. The flanging tool, of course, couldn't fit in there. So the way I got that taken care of is I took a piece of steel, laid it down on here like this, and then took this rivet set and used it to punch down the steel so that it gave me this offset flange that I needed to hit. Now let's move things around, and I will put it in place and show you what that looks like. You might be wondering why I use Cleco pins down here, and up here I use screws. And the reason is, down here, this was fairly easy to get and hold tight together. Up here, because of how everything goes together, it wanted to go back a little bit. So I used the screws because those would pull this down tighter. I've got to plug weld all these little holes here. And I wanted to make sure that this steel was down as tight as I could get it when I do my plug weld. Down here I'll use the spot welder and use it to spot weld these pieces together. And I may actually stick a couple of screws down there just to make sure that I get it. Because like right there, it's not pulling down tight, so I think I will stick a screw in there also. Reach down and swat that like button, pop in a quick comment, and subscribe to this channel. You can help save Lazarus from the scrap bin by making a one-time donation via PayPal, or join as a member on Patreon. See the links below. Now you can see even though I can press that in, there's no real oil canning going on. So next thing, spot weld down here. Use the MIG to plug weld all these little holes up here. Once I get that done, put on the outer sill and carry on from there. I still got to weld the two nuts on right here, but that's easy to do. Be back after some welding. Okay, all the plug welds are done. I haven't dressed them up any. I haven't cleaned it up any at all. This is just how ugly it's going to look. Little bit of warpage. I think a lot of that is because down here I really got too much heat in the panel. Tighten it up some. I'm not going to try to straighten this up. When I put the sill in, that will straighten some of this up. I'm sorry, when I put in the A-pillar, that will straighten some of this stuff up. I'm not going to try to shrink this and get it down. I just don't have the skill to do that. And quite frankly, I don't know if it's that terribly necessary. When I do the other side, I won't be putting as much heat into it. This is all going to be hidden by the bonnet, hood, whatever you want to call it. This is all going to be straightened up when I put the A-pillar in, get it all welded on, so I don't see any sense in messing around with that stuff. So next step is going to be going out, taking this outside, just grinding down these welds just a little bit. All of the plug welds are done. They're all cleaned off, ready to start putting on the outer sill. Taking the outer sill, I've ground off every place that I'm going to have spot welds on it, inside and outside. And I have taken the end caps, ground those clean so that I can spot weld those into place. And we should be ready to go. So I'm at the point now where I need to put this up on here, fit it all into place, and then drill the holes to hold it into place while I get it set to spot weld. So next step is going to be putting in the Clecos and possibly any screws that are necessary to hold it into place. that's a little bit of touch up on this. The spot welder punched through too much. I don't know why. I've got the pressure down about as low as I can. The tips aren't as wide as they could be, so maybe that's part of it. Let's take a look where everything's at on the car. Up here, I used plug welds because trying to get that spot welder up around wasn't going to work, so I used plug welds. Along the bottom of the sill here, these were all spot welds, but I did have a lot of blow-throughs and a few extraneous holes, so I went through and I plug welded those up. So the state that I'm at now is I'm ready to grind these welds all down. I'll throw a coat of primer on them, and we should be doing pretty good. Just so you know, if you look here, you'll notice there's a difference between this and gray. This I coated down with cold galvanized. This is regular primer. This is regular primer. The inside of these pieces I coated down with the zinc cold galvanizing spray also. This piece back here, I went in through the inside and welded this piece to this piece. Dummy here, I had masked that area off, and Dummy had forgotten to take the masking tape out, but when I just dug the piece out of the hole and went to welding, and it welded, so that's good. I got a hole right there that I've got to, let me see if I can come in on this. So that right there is a good example of where it just started to blow all the way through. The spot welder just punched through a lot further than you would expect it to. This is a little bit too weak, but if I go on the back side, it's dug in pretty good on the back side. So it's kind of, this is right here is kind of what I'd like to see those. In fact, this right here is what I'd like to see. Oh, come on. This right here is what I'd like to see those spot welds look like. But it is what it is. Guarantee you it's solid. If you remember, this piece right here was crushed in. That's kind of what it looked like. Looks good now. So, inner and outer sill done. I think I've learned enough where the other side should go a little bit quicker, hopefully. This still has a little bit of bow out to it. Nothing I can do about it. Not going to worry about it. So, okay. Grinding's done. Primer's on. What can I say? Looks a hell of a lot better than it did. So that's going to wrap it up for this week. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Comments really help. Liking helps. Trying to grow the channel. You can do a lot to help grow this channel just by clicking that like button, just by taking a second to make a comment. Looking forward to any questions you have. If you would like to help restore this thing, probably the best way to do it is just a one-time donation via PayPal. The link's down below. You can join Patreon, the membership over on Patreon. I am going to start, still working on getting, this whole thing of, when and how to do live streams set up. I'm going to try to look at putting more content up for the folks on Patreon. Probably put a few more things into my videos, because sometimes when I'm doing this stuff, a thought crosses my mind and I'm thinking, you heard one of last week I put a song in that was from World War II. that I'm sure the guys who were working on these cars were probably whistling or singing while they built them. There was a lot of those guys would have been veterans from World War II in Great Britain, and they were without a doubt singing that song. So various other things, if I think of and think they might be kind of humorous or fun to put in, I'll put those in. If you don't like them, let me know. I'm not going to say that I'm going to not put them in, but sometimes people get offended over things that I'm a hardened old bastard, folks. I've been divorced twice and spent 11 years in the military, and it's kind of like, yeah, you can't insult me. I've been insulted by professionals. So that's going to wrap it up. Thank you very much for watching. You folks have an absolutely fantastic and blessed life. BugeyeBob, over and out.